Hey everyone, this is Sabre and welcome to my first Ivy tutorial. My hope is to do a bunch of these videos about the character, each focusing on a specific facet of her gameplay, and I wanted to start off by going over all her options for healing between stocks. Being able to heal herself is a pretty big part of Ivy as a character, because not only is she the only character that can heal herself without someone else on the screen, but her healing also helps charge her fastest kill move, which makes it important for Ivy players to be able to heal as much and as fast as they can. While a lot of her healing comes from hitting an opponent with her bulb attacks, she can also just heal herself by hitting B, and Ivy players will often do this between stocks while waiting for the other player to respawn to just get a few percent back. And there are a few different ways to heal yourself between stocks that are more effective than just holding B, and we're going to go over those in the course of this video. Before we do, I want you to just take a look at the animation that happens when you press B. I'm going to go into slow-mo here so you can see that when I tap B, first you get a brief pause, and then the wind box that comes out, and then Ivy actually heals herself for 1% after that animation, and then there's an ending animation before she's actionable again, which is when I start healing. It's that ending animation that makes just standing there and holding B not very effective as a healing method, and everything we're going to go over in this video is intended to avoid that animation. So having gone over that, let's take a look at something called double healing, which is the most effective way to heal yourself between stocks if you're only worrying about healing the maximum amount of health in a short period of time. What I'm doing right now looks like I'm just holding B, but you can see that after I heal my second percent, I'm releasing B and immediately tapping it again, which is letting me ignore the ending animation of second synthesis and immediately restart the healing cycle. I'm slowing down this VOD afterwards so you can see it a little better, but immediately after I heal that second percent, you can see another wind box come out and I start healing again. The timing's a little bit weird, and I don't have a hand cam unfortunately, but just, go into debug mode and wait 1.5 cycles. So you heal all the way once, and then you heal it halfway again until you take that second percent, and then immediately release and tap B again, and you should start the double healing process. It takes a little while to get the hang of, but once you do, it just feels very natural. And because you're ignoring that second ending animation, this is the fastest way to heal yourself between stocks if you're only concerned about healing as much as you can. But it still has the same major problem as just holding B, which is that you aren't exactly mobile while you're doing it. You're still stuck in essentially 1.5 healing animations, which is a long time if you misjudge how long it takes your opponent to respawn, and you can just get hit if they respawn early and come over and attack you. So what we're going to go over right now is some ways to remain mobile while healing yourself. So let's talk about some ways to heal yourself while remaining mobile. The simplest is just a short hop around and tap B to heal yourself once per short hop. One of the cool things about synthesis is that it land cancels, meaning that the rest of the animation just stops as soon as you touch the ground. So if you hit the ground just after the part where you heal yourself, you can immediately act or short hop again and keep doing it. This is a really good way to remain mobile while healing yourself and making it harder for an invincible opponent to track you down and immediately come after you after respawning. On a similar note, on stages with side platforms at an appropriate height, namely Battlefield, Pokemon Stadium, Fountain of Dreams, Warriorland, Green Hill Zone, and Delfino sometimes, you can full hop over the platform and time your synthesis so that you edge cancel it before falling to the ground and land canceling another synthesis, which gives you 2 bursts of healing in 1 full hop. This is a really good tactic for remaining mobile while healing, and is more optimal than just short hopping around if you're comfortable consistently pulling it off. The problem, of course, is that you're kind of stuck going in this arc after you begin the animation of full hopping over the platform, and so it can be kind of predictable if you're doing it between stocks every single time. But after that first edge cancel, you also have options like aerialing after the edge cancel, double jump wave landing onto the platform, and things like that. So you do have ways to mix it up. The last thing that Ivy players will have to do to remain safe from an invincible opponent while healing themselves is to do one of the things I've already talked about until they see their opponent respawn, at which point they jump off stage and heal for 1 or 2 more percent before tethering the ledge and regaining stage. This is usually used after B reverse or moonwalk off stage to get more momentum and let you be off stage for even longer, and it's something that most people really only do if they know that they're close to having a fully charged solar beam, because that way they get that 1 or 2 more percent, and the disadvantage of having to make your way back on stage against an invincible opponent is still worth it if it means that you have a solar beam, especially since Ivy has some really good ledge options that I'll go over in another video. So those are all the ways that Ivy can heal between stocks. She can double heal, She can short hop fast fall synthesis, she can platform cancel synthesis, and she can jump off stage and heal. But before I end this video, I want to go over one last thing, which is how to make sure that you don't waste all the work you just did, and how to make sure that you know exactly when you're going to get Solar Beam. Because the one weakness that everything we just went over has is that it requires tapping the B button multiple times, as opposed to just holding B, where there's no risk at all of hitting B after getting a Solar Beam and losing said Solar Beam. And so there's one of two ways that you can make sure that nothing we just went over in this video causes you to waste a Solar Beam mid-set, which can really be a momentum changer. The first is to actually count how many charges you have to your Solar Beam. Ivysaur needs exactly 22% of healing to charge your full Solar Beam, and so obviously you get 1% per each synthesis burst, and you can also know exactly how much healing you're getting from each bulb attack. For example, up throw does 6%, up air and dare both do 7%, and up smash does 9%. The problem is that not only are you attempting to keep track of all of this while you're playing and focusing on other things, you also have to account for scaling on moves that you might be using multiple times in a combo, and as a result, you don't necessarily have an accurate count. So there's some players who, actually count and can keep track of that, and if you can do that, kudos to you. That's definitely something to be able to do. The alternative is just to be able to practice and react to when you get Solar Beam so that you don't preemptively hit B again. Something that really requires doing is just sitting there and doing each of these things. The platform cancels, the double healing, the short hops, over and over and over again, until you can react to seeing that glow come up in your bulb, and you can immediately either just keep holding B or release B entirely. Either way, the main goal is just not to tap it again and waste the Solar Beam. Either method works just fine. All the top ivies have their own preferences, but all the optimization in this video kind of goes to waste when you're healing between stocks, and then all of a sudden, whoops, there goes your beam. So that's my first tutorial. Thank you all for watching. I hope you found it helpful. My hope is to have a higher production quality, including a hand cam for my next video, and I have a lot of ideas for other things that might be helpful to go over, so please leave suggestions for things that might be useful for you to see in the comments. Feedback on how to improve my videos is always appreciated, and thank you for watching.